Today for review, I have the Xtreme Production double bearing tail pitch slider for the Blade 130X. And I have the aluminum version, and there is now a steel version available. And I'm going to open this up and get you some better close-ups of the tail pitch slider. And over here, we have the stock one installed. And as you can see, there's a lot of movement in the tail, which isn't good. And a lot of that movement is coming from the tail pitch slider. So I'm going to go ahead and install the Xtreme one, and I'll show you what kind of movement we have afterwards. So I'm going to go ahead and install it. So I installed the pitch links into the Xtreme tail slider, and one thing to note is that Xtreme includes 2 extra pins which retain the pitch links, and they also include 2 pins which are already installed. So what I did was take one of the spare pins and put it in a pair of needle nose pliers, and then used it to push out the pins from the stock one. And then I used those pins to push out the pre-installed pins. And the Xtreme pins, they work perfectly fine. These pitch links are perfectly smooth. As you can see, compared to the stock one, the Xtreme one, it's a little beefier and it has 2 bearings instead of 1. And overall, it's a lot smoother. So now I'm going to put it on the helicopter, and I'll show you how much less slop there is in the tail once it's installed. So I had the pitch slider installed, and it went on perfectly. And now I'll show you that there is a lot less movement in the tail than there was with the stock slider. And you can see there's still some, but that's coming from other parts of the tail. The upgrade, it definitely does show that there is less movement, but a lot of the movement is coming from the tail blade grips. In Xtreme, they just came out with some new tail blade grips that will get rid of that movement, or at least a good majority of it. But as you can see, the tail blade grips, they have a lot of movement in them. This control lever that runs up here to the pitch slider and underneath the helicopter, and you can see that's a lot of movement. And then some movement when I'm moving the tail also comes from the servo. And you can see it's moving up and down. So there's a lot of slop and movement in this tail just because of how it was designed. But the Xtreme pitch slider, it definitely does reduce it, as you can see. That's a very minimal movement compared to what I showed you in the beginning. So overall, it makes a really nice upgrade, and it's going to help your tail on your Blade 130X feel a lot more locked in. So the double bearing tail pitch slider by Xtreme is going to be a very nice upgrade for your Blade 130X helicopter.